So today we're going to be talking about ChatGPT. ChatGPT is a new AI product that allows you to sort of like give commands to a computer, to the product, and it will generate code for you and answer questions and give you steps and things of that nature associated with different technologies. Today we're going to be talking about how it works and how to use it. We're going to set one up. I'm going to go through, show you some examples. And I'm going to be focusing specifically on the technology space, right? So building very simple applications, PowerShell scripts, and creating bicep scripts and Terraform scripts using this product. Okay, so here we are in the ChatGPT interface. If you're interested, you go to chat.openai.com. So now we're going to do some commands to see how accurate and responsive ChatGPT is to the things that an Azure resource might be doing. So one of the things that we would do, well, we use these IAC scripts to basically deploy into our environments. So let's go ahead and in this case use Bicep, and let's use Bicep to create a VM and a virtual network, right? So create. So we would just now type. In the past, we'd have to do all this in Bicep, but now I'm just going to type create Azure VM and VNet in Bicep. As you can see, this is going in and actually typing out everything that we're needing. And here's our virtual machine. I'm going to open up Visual Studio now. While this is running, let's go ahead and let's create a new project. Console application. Looks like that's done. I'm going to actually go side by side here. All right, so we have our code here. And we're going to create a bicep file. Paste this in here. And as you can see, it says there no issues. This is the file we created. Those are the variables, and the variables are being used all through here. So we have our VM and our virtual network fully created from code in a matter of seconds, from OpenAI in a matter of seconds or minutes. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's now create a console application that can run this bicep. create a C# console application. Uses PowerShell. So we're creating a C# application, C# console application that uses PowerShell to run the bicep file we just created. That's what we're typing in. Okay, so we can start taking this stuff and putting it into our code. Do this over here. So let's go to our program.cs. We're going to need that. Okay, and actually, I'm just going to copy this and paste the whole thing. All right, so you're immediately seeing that there are errors here showing up. That's because it doesn't actually tell you, what NuGet packages you need to create. Let's see if it's actually providing that information anywhere. No, it's not. So let's ask it. File that. See if we can break this guy. All right, it's telling us that we need system.automation. Right, so it didn't do what it was supposed to do, but we did get system automation, which we should have added here. So copied this over, the NuGet package. And as you can see, now that system.management.automation has been added, this now runs and it's going to take this resource. So all we'd have to do is essentially remove that and put that here. And we have a C# console application that will actually, well, let's change this. C# console application that will actually go in and run this guy. So far, what have we done? We've created a bicep file that will help you create a virtual network. And we've taken that bicep file and we've loaded it into Visual Studio and just checked it to make sure that what they generated would work. We also created a console application using this tool that can run a bicep file. And then we swapped it out so that it actually was running the bicep file that we just previously created. Let's now go ahead and let's see this in action using other technologies. So first, I'm going to create an Azure VM and VNet using Terraform. Okay, now let's see if we can actually go back up here. And if you recall, we created a console application. Okay, so we'll copy that and we'll paste that down here. And we'll say we want a Java console application that runs a Terraform file or script. See if this will work. It's saying to create a Java console application that runs Terraform script, you'll need to have Terraform CLI on your machine. There you go. And then you can even do this very same thing and change it to Rust console application that executes a bicep file. And then, of course, you can always do things. Let's say we've created that virtual machine now, and we now want to add that virtual machine to a domain. You can always say, okay, so we're creating a PowerShell script that adds an Azure VM to an on-prem domain. And there we go, given the actual script itself. I think we've finally been able to stomp it. This will work. Okay, let's see if this completes. No, it did not. So clearly, this is a preview, and this doesn't do everything. There will be mistakes or things not working, and it seems like we might have gotten to the point where we've stopped this. Let's see if we can just add an Azure VM to add an Azure VM to a domain. See, these steps seem like a lot. I don't see why you need to get the public IP addresses or anything like that. You should just be able to add the computer to the domain. There you go. So it did do it, but I think you really only need the the add computer, provide the domain name. Have it. That's ChatGPT in all its glory. Now, as stated, what you're using and what we tested out there was a preview version of the product. It's not been released to the market, so it's not generally available. And what are my thoughts on this technology? Well, they are at least twofold, but there might be more thoughts that come about as I go along in thinking. So first things first, obviously the technology is not where it needs to be, where it's like perfect and getting everything right. Obviously there are things that are, not totally correct there, but any objective person would have to admit that it is providing value, right? So even at this point, it's providing quite a bit of value. There are situations where you spend hours looking for answers to certain things and whatnot, or for steps that are correct. You get a lot of fluff before you get to the meat and potatoes. So you do a lot of research to get basic things answered and understood, because really you can't be expected to know everything, right? So it's so having that high level understanding is very important, and then drilling in as you see fit, as you need to drill in, is where the research comes in. A product like this obviously makes it much easier, because you literally just go in and type what you're looking to do, and it gives you essentially at least a good starting point, where you can build from. So from that perspective, the value is there and it's highly useful. And even as it stands right now, it certainly could supplant um, like a weaker programmer, because simply because you can do more, right? If you don't have to research things, you can just get things done. You can do more in the hands of an experienced person. They can quickly run through things without necessarily having to do all the typing. Just copy paste and really just work at that macro level of understanding what are the things to ask, asking those things, getting the responses, and then composing an overarching product or set of features, capabilities, or whatever from there. So it does have that. That's one. The other big thing is this is only going to get better. Okay. And there's only going to be more of things like this out there, not less, more, right? So what does that mean for you? Well, I would say at the end of the day, if I, just using myself, the fact that I've gone and looked at it, played around with, understood how it works, it's important that everybody who this affects, and it does affect a lot of people, go in and do that and understand where the technology is going, how far it's going to go, and get yourself ahead of the game, so that you're not kind of like, you show up at work one day and all the doors are closed because there's an AI that can do everything for you, right? So that would be my advice, and that's really my general thoughts on it. It's a good thing to a certain extent. I'm concerned that that it's going to take away a lot of jobs. um I and as technologies like this grow, they'll take away a lot of jobs. But on the flip side of it, I think that maybe it's more of the fact that they will change jobs, right? So as opposed to being in front of the AI and using the AI, you'd be behind the AI, you know, producing these kinds of applications, or producing the logic that can be used to create these kinds of applications, and these kinds of capabilities for products such as this. So I do think there's a future. Again, products like this are going to use services. They're going to use services. The AI itself simply cannot know everything, but it can have the ability to answer questions, and you can be the person who provides answers to those questions if you understand how to plug um, into a product like this. So, do I think that the world of the developer is dead? No, I don't think it's dead at the moment, but um, I mean, I think you're standing on the blocks, and 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 the judge is the judge has ordered that they put a noose around the developer's neck. That's what I think, the technology resources neck. And so, just be mindful of that. Check it out as always. This has been a sort of like an informal talk on ChatGPT. We've heard so much about it, so I wanted to give you a little bit of a demonstration of the product, how it works as it applies to you, the developer, you, the technology resource, you, the cloud architect. This applies to you. This matters to you. Pay attention, get in on it and understand what's going on, and understand how it applies to your job, and how organizations are going to be using products like this. Or if you're working at an insurance company, what does this mean for actuarials? What does this mean for reporting? What does this mean for claims, right? What does it mean for the various tools that you're running in the background to service your organization? How easy it is it to build a website using something like this? Is even going to that level? So go in there and play around with it and see what it does, and ultimately, and make sure you have an exit strategy and a backup plan, and make sure you have a next move in terms of like your career, in order to align yourself with what organizations are going to be looking for, in the event that that they're not going to need a lot of technical people, like how they do at the moment. So once again, as always, I am personally powered by your likes, by your watches, by your views. I do this for you. So please, if you like the content, like, subscribe, share, comment. Let me know what you think about ChatGPT. Let me know when you play around with it, how you feel about it, and have a blessed day.